Hey guys, well as y'all might already know, I'm Alex. Today we're going to be comparing three countries, Luxembourg, Mongolia, and Kenya, to see why are they developed, developing, or not developed. We're going to accomplish this by looking at five statistics. In this case, let's start with the HID number. Since since that's how we classify our countries in the first place. Speaking of first place, look at Luxembourg being first with the HID number of 0.949, and you see that's a good thing. That's why you see a smiley face. Then let's look at Mongolia with an HID number of 0.675, which is the developing in this case, and Kenya, who is not so developed with the HID number of 0.472. Now let's look at the unemployment rate. This is the percentage of people without a job, and obviously, if people don't have jobs, the criminal will increase and other factors. But in this case, the developed, which has a minimum rate of 4.8%, the developing not so far behind actually with 9%, and the not so developed with way like a big number like 40%. So that's why I think it's classified as not so developed. Now let's look at the inflation rate. The inflation rate is very important for the economic of a country. So if you have a high inflation rate, that's not so good. So in this case, you have the developed with 2.5. That's very small number, and the developing with 14. And it's kind of funny because the not so developed has a lower inflation rate, and that really happens between different countries. Like some have advantages and disadvantages, you could say. But in this case, yeah, the developing has a high inflation rate, 40%. Now let's look at the HID, AIDS adult prevalence rate. It's obvious that once you, it's like a stereotype to think of HIVs and like associate them with Africa, and in this case, Kenya has the highest number, and yes, it's located in Africa, and then you have Mongolia, which is in first, like with the lowest number, and Luxembourg with the high number. And as we mentioned before, Luxembourg is, the developed country, but still has a higher HIV and AIDS adult prevalence rate than Mongolia. So that's pretty interesting. Now let's look at the type of government. The type of government, the Luxembourg is the continental monarchy. The Mongolian government is the parliamentary, and Kenya has the government of republic. And that brings me to my question. Maybe this affects the developing stages of the country, right? And maybe it does. So then let's finish by looking at my drawings. You see, we have a lion and a castle for Luxembourg. That's because they're very like loyal and very like old-fashioned monarchy wise, like castles and etc. Now let's look at Mongolia. Mongolia is like there's very like a lot of plains and not a lot of cities. It's just like there's grass and mountains all over the place, and there's a camel right there because there's a lot of camels in Mongolia. Now let's look at Kenya. Well, Kenya, it's in Africa, symbolized by the elephant, the sunset with the tree, and they're very tribal. Well, that's it. I hope this